Gear up, because this is the Fuel Your Marketing podcast, designed to accelerate sales and grow your business. Let's welcome your host, Arti Sharma.
Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Modern Marketing Manufacturing series. I'm your host, Arti Sharma, and super excited to be here. So today we're going to be talking about 5 inbound strategies that are really helpful for manufacturing companies. As you know, my company, Measure Marketing, works with a lot of manufacturing organizations. And what we've done is we've found out that these 5 techniques are staple in attracting, engaging, and creating delightful experiences for their audience. So in today's episode, we're going to be taking a deep dive into these 5 modern inbound strategies. But what is shifting in today's business world is not just enough to have a great product. We all know that you also need to have a great marketing strategy to go along with it. And especially manufacturing industry, this is so true with so much competition out there. You must find more creative and effective ways to market your products if you really want to succeed, enjoy your business. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be unpacking in this episode. I'll show you how to reach your target audience and generate more sales for your business, as well as we're going to be talking a little bit about some other techniques that are modern in their own nature. But there seems to be unlimited options for digital marketing, right? And these days, budget is constrained. Companies do the bare minimum to get by or invest in the wrong tactics. So if you're one of those companies or leaders who've done everything and you're not finding that success, I really want you to stick around. Because as a growing company, it's important to be smart with what you've got to work with. So if you're a leader in manufacturing company or a marketing professional, I really hope this will help you steer your team. So let's dive in. All right, so I'm sure most of you who are listening in would agree that a website is an efficient and a very important part of doing business today. And a good website can really leave a positive impression on your visitors. Someone who's not even aware of your brand or somebody who's new to searching online and they land on your website. Imagine if you do not have a website that speaks of what your brand presents and what are they going to actually take away? So to create that positive momentum, that positive impression, and build that trust, it's so important to have a website that speaks of who you are as a company. You look professional and portray your company essentially in a positive way. So clearly, a well-designed website is an important part of your B2B manufacturing business. It's especially important to have a website that looks professional because all the visitors that are coming in, they have a lot of options. As I said earlier, there's a demand, there's competition. So when the demand is there, there's competition also, and you want to be making sure that you're keeping up with that. You're making sure that you're addressing the needs of your audience and potential customers who are searching for you. But many companies, many businesses don't put enough thought into their website, and that's what I've seen over the years. They may use outdated templates or have a layout that's difficult to navigate. It's not responsive. And in this world of attention deficit, that we are just kind of, not investing in our web presence, your audience is not interested. They will come online, they will find you, and then once they find you, and if you're not serving the needs in the most modern, effective manner for them, and they're struggling to get the information, then guess what? You've lost that audience, you've lost their attention. And they're not going to stay in that entire journey flow and take that relevant next step. So there's a huge bounce rate that we experience. So if you're experiencing that huge bounce rate on your website, in your analytics, in your data, I have talked about that in my previous episodes. So definitely take a note of how your website is, rendering information or making your visitors or your prospects navigate to the next viable action step. So I highly recommend you apply this one tool on your website. It is called Hotjar. And there's definitely some free versions of that. So what Hotjar does is it actually essentially allows you to see the browsing patterns of your visitors on the website. What is it that they're most interested in? What buttons are they clicking the most? And then combine that with your analytics data to come up with a way of looking at how your users are behaving with your online presence. And now if you're going to be in the redesign mode, at least make it data-driven. So I'd invite you to read a few blogs on our website around it and also listen to the previous podcasts around website design and conversion. But again, Hotjar is a good starting point. So to summarize, your number one, inbound strategy is to look at your website. It should not be in poor shape. Spend the time to fix it before you do anything else. Your website should clearly state your positioning on the homepage, provide easily the access to key information that about your products, your services, relevant information about your key products, your use cases, and any information about the company, as well as easy ways to reach out for more information or even talk to sales, right? So make sure that's happening on your website. So number 2 is about content marketing. I just spoke about how it's so important to make sure that you have relevant information on your website, and content plays such a critical role in all of that. Today's industrial manufacturing and B2B buyers make most of the decisions, and their purchase decision is based even before they've talked to the sales department. In my last episode, I attested to the buyer's journey and how the champion of who's been commissioned to do the research is not the one writing the check. But again, there are so many different steps involved in that purchase decision that you have to have content which is relevant for every stage of that buying journey. And inbound marketing is all about making sure that your website is doing its job of showing up for your target audience when they search, engage them, and encourage them to reach out when they have a need, or at least when they're kind of reached that stage in the buying process when they need to speak to the sales. So content marketing will still be an important part of any business. However, I must mention that it's becoming more important to produce higher quality content that engages customers and establishes that trust. Trust is a big factor today, especially now when there's so much competition and everyone's trying to get to the top of the search engines. And everyone's caught up and wants the content to get attention from those major search engines. So how are you going to be unique? How are you going to be distinct? And how are you going to be even trusting more than what your competition is putting out there? That's a challenge that you want to address. Now, businesses are using blogging and content marketing more than ever to reach their audience. But again, valuable content will definitely draw more attention, more customers, and get you more sales. Now, many times I hear that blogging, we're doing it, content we're producing, but it's not very successful. But the content is too promotional in those cases, right? Or it fails to provide value to the reader. So if you're looking to improve your blogging and content marketing strategies, be sure to follow these tips. Number 1, produce high quality, relevant content for your audience. How do you do that? Make sure that you're going to answerthepublic.com. Look for a keyword and enter the keyword in that search bar. You will be coming up with a whole lot of questions that your potential customers are asking. Start there. Start putting out content and answer those questions. Make sure the second thing that I would say is that your content is well written and it's easy to read. Sometimes in our quest to make it really formal, we lose our audience. It has to be written for grade 6 to 7, and that's what research tells you. In some cases, the top copywriters around the world even preach that it should be written for grade 4 level. So don't make it too formal. Otherwise, you've lost your audience because they only have so much attention span and they're scrolling through their phones to find that piece of information that they've been commissioned to research.
This podcast is being brought to you by Measure Marketing, an inbound marketing agency and a HubSpot partner. To book a free consultation, visit measuremarketing.com.
Break your content down through videos, images, cater to all type of learner behaviors and educate your audience through a variety of different content. And that makes it more engaging as well, right? I would say number 4 would be to share your content in social media platforms for wider exposures. Many times, companies invest a whole lot in producing this really long-form blog post, but do not leverage it by repurposing the content in other formats. It could be infographics, it could be social media posts, it could be turning that long form copy or that long form of used case into a case study and maybe running ads to that, right? So I'd highly recommend to say, have a more synchronized content strategy, but what you really need to start with is, what is it that is my audience looking for? How do I answer those questions? How do I engage them further by giving them more meaty, relevant content and giving them more information than my competition and driving them towards that next obvious action item to speak to sales, or probably, in some cases, route them towards our e-commerce section of the manufacturing where they could possibly self-serve themselves for those parts and orders. Again, by sharing that valuable content, you can attract potential customers. That's given. But it also puts you as a thought leader in your industry, right? It also helps you in ranking higher on search engines pages and bring you more traffic to your website. So let me say this one more time. Content is going to be king. It's always been there, but the change is you have to understand your ideal customers and produce relevant, engaging, and a higher quality and unique content to engage them further. So that brings me to number 3 tactic for inbound strategies, right? We've so far talked about website and content marketing and details on content and websites, but the number 3 big inbound strategy that you definitely don't want to miss out is search engine optimization. The rules around search engine optimization and the best practices are always evolving, always shifting constantly. And especially now as new technologies and trends come and go, Google, Bing, and other search engines, they're keeping us on our toes as marketers. But as a manufacturing company, if you are not investing in search engine optimization, I really want to invite you to look at the budgets that you're spending on trade shows and what could that search engine optimization strategy budget do for you in the long run. There's a ton of ways you can boost your website up in search engines. So let's talk about that. There's definitely a lot of misconceptions around it, but I want to kind of distill that, unpack it. And each manufacturing company is different. So finding that right mix of best practices takes some sort of an experimenting. So be open to that. If it is not working, doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just maybe needs refinement, and data could really play a big role in that. So what's the one thing you can do is start looking at your metrics. And search engine optimization data is available through your Google Search Console or Google Analytics. And if you don't have these two, that's a good starting point. Again, good starting point why I say this is because when you understand how your data is, working for you, what's bringing you the traffic, what pages are most interesting to your end audience or potential buyers, you have this information, and the next few strategies will be a piece of cake because now you would know what is missing. Why are people coming to this page and not staying very long? Do we need to produce more content or make it more relevant? Or are people coming for the wrong search terms on our website? And maybe there's a little bit of a gap in our understanding of what people's intent is in making those searches. So I'm going to stress that search engine optimization is a very, very important concept. And search intent in SEO is definitely not to be missed. I'm not exaggerating when I say that you really want to rank these days, understanding and creating content with search intent in mind, which is so critical because else you're going to be spending a lot of money on search engine optimization and then not getting anywhere. So watch out for the following episode that when we release around search engine optimization and intent-based searches. That'll be releasing in the next few weeks. So watch out for that. I will be taking a deep dive there. But having said that, looking to rank in Google or any other search engines, you really do need to create content that aligns with that search intent. And again, search engine optimization is not just about content. Content is one big component of it, but there's a lot of technical insights that you should know about your website. And that's why when you're looking to redesign your website, keeping those best practices is important, choosing the right technology, making sure that any company you work with is designing the website from a technical angle also to serve the Google's best practices and guidelines, and making it, front and center about user experience, right? Because user experience is one of the other benchmarks that Google and Bing consider for ranking the websites as per their algorithm. So let's dive into the number 4. What is it that the companies and manufacturing companies could invest into, and reset their marketing to perform better so that there is more engagement, there is more trust, and there's more credibility, there's thought leadership, and eventually more sales and revenue. The number 4 strategy that we highly recommend our manufacturing customers is to invest in video marketing. Video is such an important part of marketing in B2B and manufacturing. It can allow and help you to sell complex products or services. It really helps you to convey the complexity of a product or a process and, give behind the scenes of a manufacturer's facility even, and the expertise and the competency of you, your team. And again, when I said videos can showcase products and services behind the scenes, it is so important to establish that personalization with people who you don't know or who don't know you. So it's a great way to reach a wider audience, generate more leads for your manufacturing company. And some of the things that we've been doing is creating engaging, informating videos that can showcase, how the manufacturing is happening for a product. How is the shipping process being taken care of? And when we give customers a behind-the-scene look at the manufacturing process, there is a little bit more, I would say, personalization, but there's also more attachment to that brand because you're being transparent now. So use videos to market and promote your brand, product, service. It can also be used to educate your customers about your company and your products and services. It's a great way to connect with your target audience and generate more sales for your business. Watch out for another deep dive episode on video marketing. We're going to touch upon it in the next few weeks, so watch out for that. But until then, I want you to understand when you're carving out your marketing budgets, look at how video plays a role. When you're looking at your buyer's journey and overall flow, at what stage are you going to introduce a video? Are you going to introduce a video when somebody kind of, requires specifications? You're going to send them a specification, but maybe a personalized video from the lead engineer or the vice president of technology at your company, or even the sales rep. Who knows what your buying process is? But understanding that when to introduce video is important and what kind of content through video will make most sense is critical. So far we've covered about 4 techniques of modern inbound strategies. Website design, content marketing, search engine optimization, and video advertising and video marketing. But you can't beat the power of advertising on the internet. And reaching your audience quickly with some targeted and strategic paid advertising techniques will drive the right visitors to your site. That ad technology has evolved so much over the last 1 decade. And in the last few years, I'd say about 70% of industrial marketing leaders are using paid advertising, typically referred to as pay-per-click or search engine marketing, to attract new audience, right? So the paid advertising campaigns can include any sort of ads like text-based search ads, as well as any kind of display ads, video ads, remarketing ads. What really happens is when manufacturing companies start to get traffic, they could take that traffic and remarket to them through a variety of different ad sets, depending upon where their buyer is looking for. If they're on a service page or specifications page, then kind of, serving them ads accordingly is possible today. And those are called remarketing and retargeting ads. Having said that, you could do display ads in a different way, where you could also use them as for outbound. As I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, outbound encompasses display advertising. So what happens when you, as a manufacturing company, when do you invest in paid advertising? What's the right budget, and what kind of ads should you invest in? Those are the kind of questions I'm sure everyone's asking. But I think it's really important to know, do you have your ideal customer profile figured out? Do you know if you want to become more aggressive in your approach, then you obviously want to build upon some specific terms in that they're being searched by those ideal customers. You need to build your keyword list, which could be used for your search engine optimization, but also for your paid advertising, especially in highly competitive areas where you have lots of competition and you want to drive quicker results, because search engine optimization can take a longer strategy to build upon, whereas paid advertising for technical or industrial offerings generally would require some sort of an acquisition cost, but could be a faster way to go to market. And paid advertising for industrial manufacturing requires a different type of fine-tuning than advertising to consumer audiences. So we typically, when we get to discussing paid advertising with our industrial and manufacturing and dealer network-oriented manufacturing companies, we apply an ABM lens. ABM stands for account-based marketing. And with that in mind, because people are not talking about contact level marketing, especially in your industry, perhaps salespeople typically are not talking about contact. They're talking about accounts, right? They need to win those net new logos. They need to win an account, not a contact, right? So in that case, account-based marketing really serves well when we reach the B2B buyer persona, where there's an account involved, especially with the buying committee that I've been referring to over the last few episodes. You need to engage and influence the buying committee, and not just, go with one tactic or one contact and then expect a miraculously you being specified. Obviously, there's a lot of different steps involved, but what paid advertising can do is cater to an entire account, and account-based marketing comes into play there. There's lots of sophisticated ad technology tools, and as a Rollworks partner, we definitely want to recommend that platform because we've seen some huge success as for our North American clients. So paid search services are offered in tandem with SEO in most of our manufacturing clients, and I want to give that to you to consider, because search engine optimization and paid advertising when done in tandem, can perform and produce at a higher level. And I know Google hasn't come out and said it right, but I want to make a revelation here. This episode that paid advertising actually helps to boost your search engine optimization results to a large degree, because that's what we've observed data set after data set when we've reviewed it, that there is definitely some merit to that. Now, how do you get started? You obviously want to understand your ideal customer profiles, your keyword list, your competition, your geography, your intent, etc. But again, there's lots of 4 or 5 different types of intent, and we're going to be covering that in another episode. But I want you to know that pay-per-click, SEM, whatever you want to call it, paid advertising or account-based marketing should definitely be on your radar. And running those campaigns should be measured by their effectiveness. So detailed reports should be looked into, and making sure that you're taking that data and making valuable insights for your SCM campaign. And again, crunch those numbers, keep your return on marketing front and center, and keep evolving that, keep refining it, because paid search definitely works hand in hand with search engine optimization. And when you do the two, it provides the ability to target niche audiences like never before. And again, an ABM approach can be a great way to build upon it, because it means identifying your target industries or accounts and not just contacts, and focusing on lead quality over quantity. And again, for many mid-market B2B companies, they may not have the volume of budget to do an enterprise level ABM platform or a ABM level campaign. But again, ABM should be definitely considered if you have a lean sales team, because that's what it does. It is not just geared for enterprise level clients. It's actually more important for leaner, smaller teams who want to have a major impact, higher impact from their advertising dollars, and utilize the ABM platforms to help them get to that niche segment very, very quickly. And never before have we talked about it, but in the coming episodes, you're going to hear me talk in detail about account-based marketing for manufacturing companies. So stay tuned for that. In summary, 5 tactics that you must focus for your inbound strategies. Number 1, take a stock of your website. That's the foundation. Build relevant, engaging, high-quality, unique content for those engineers trying to specify your products, and for the entire account for the buyer journey. Have a different stage level content. Number 3, search engine optimization, and do not miss out on the intent searches. 4, video plays an important role. Which stage of the buyer journey are you include video in? Make sure you don't miss out on that. And number 5 is paid advertising. Combine it with ABM and search engine optimization to get the most out of your marketing dollars. Until we meet again on the next episode, keep applying these amazing growth strategies and reach your customers and grow your business. Stay blessed, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Fuel Your Marketing podcast. For more episodes, visit www.fuelyourmarketing.com.